Hi guys, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to Early Years Matters TV. On this channel, we focus on everything early childhood related. And if these are the kind of videos you're looking for, what you have to do, subscribe. And not just subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that whenever a new video is being dropped on this channel, you'll be the first person to be notified. Today, I'm going to be talking about inclusive practice in your early childhood classroom. Yes, today's discussion is going to be all about inclusive practice in your early childhood classroom. Are you an early childhood educator thinking of how you can promote inclusion in your early childhood classroom? This video is for you. Ensure that you watch it to the end. I'll start by defining inclusion. You might be wondering, what is inclusion? Inclusion simply means the act of respecting everyone and valuing everyone. Yes. So when you think of the word inclusion, it's all about valuing, acknowledging, and respecting everyone. This is what inclusion is all about. Now let's consider the word everyone. So for instance, as an early childhood educator, if you have 10 children in your classroom, it simply means that you have to respect, you have to value, you have to acknowledge the 10 children in your classroom. I know the next thing you're going to say is, Florence, this is difficult. I'll tell you it's not difficult. Hang on there, I'm going to really explain. So if you have 10 children in your classroom as an early childhood educator, your role is to value them. Your role is to respect them. Your role is to acknowledge them. Simply means no child should be left behind. So subconsciously, you have to think as an early childhood educator, how can I promote an inclusive early childhood classroom? Or how will I ensure that no child is left behind in my classroom? The first point to promoting inclusion in your early childhood classroom is to observe the children. Yes, if you have 10 children in your classroom, it's important that you observe them. So when you observe the children, you're going to find out a lot of things about them. Like I do say on this channel, observation is the key. So the first point of call to promoting inclusion in your early childhood classroom is to observe the children. So if you observe the children, you're going to gather a lot of information about the children. And this is the point of call for promoting inclusion. So you gather a lot about the children's strengths, about their needs, about their background, and you put all of this together. You definitely have an inclusive preschool curriculum. Yes. So for instance, if you observe the children, you're going to find out if some of the children have special needs. You're going to find out about the different way the children learn. You're going to find out the learning style of the children. So you're going to find out about their strengths, their likes, their dislikes. So it's telling you a whole lot about the 10 children. And then next, all you have to do is sit down, have your inclusive hat on. Yes. You think of how are you going to promote inclusion with all this information that you've gathered about the children, and you sit down and map out your inclusive preschool curriculum. Another way you could promote inclusion is simply by talking to the parent. It's important as well. You lay hands with the parents, ask them questions about their children. You agree with me that parents are the primary caregiver of their children. They know their children best, so they tell you a whole lot of things about their children in relation to how their children learn. So if you know the learning style of the children, like if some of the children are auditory learners, so they learn when they listen to audio. So what does that mean? In your preschool curriculum, you're going to be facilitating auditory learning, okay? So because you are being inclusive, you're taking into consideration these children. So if you have some children that are visual learners, that they learn when they see pictures, pictorial evidences, then you'll be able to include this in your preschool curriculum. For instance, if you also find out that some of the children have additional needs, for instance, autism, ADHD, so you take all of this into consideration during play. For instance, if a child that they don't like to be in a noisy environment, so you're planning for their play, you take all of this into consideration, that the environment is not going to be noisy, so that it's not going to affect the children. So can you now see that inclusion say a whole lot of things? It's not just all about thinking about inclusion, it's all about thinking about the children all the time. This is what inclusion is all about. Another way you could also promote inclusion is through the activities that you provide for the children. So try and mix the activity. This is where the likes of the children comes into play. So if you have the 10 children, they have their different things that they like, the different activities they like. So incorporate this into your preschool curriculum. Another way you could also promote inclusion is to consider to have an inclusive environment. Yes, inclusive preschool classroom. This is important. In your room layout, for instance, if you have a child that is on wheelchair, so you're not going to say, oh, because of the space, or the child should just sit in one corner. So you're thinking all the time there's this child on wheelchair. So how will I accommodate the child? All the children are going to be engaging in painting. So the room layout, the space, the table, so that the child will not be left behind as well. So also in the book corner, have different books, that represent the background of the children. Important. So that's why I said observation is important. So when you observe the children, you find out about their background, where they're coming from. So then in relation to you source books that represents the children. You want the children to see themselves being represented in the preschool setting. You don't want the children to come in and say, well, I'm not represented here. I can't see myself. Although you might be thinking, oh, Florence, they are preschool children. Some of them can't really use their words, but they can see things. I'm telling you, they can see things. So whatever they see, they want to be represented. So it's also important in the book corner, have the different books that represent the children in the classroom. You can even take it on further by representing other children that are not in the classroom. So this is where you're promoting inclusion. In the home corner as well, have the different doors that represents the children in the classroom. Have different materials that the children can see that differences exist. This is important. You want the children to acknowledge that differences exist, but it doesn't make them less inferior or make them less different from others. But they need to see these things. And it's from early childhood. And it's important that we let the children get the information right from us. Yes, the educator, the parent. You don't want them to go out there and get things from the wrong. So it's important that they hear it from us. It's important that you are the educator as well. You show what inclusion it's all about. You need to understand that you have to be positive role models to the children. They watch you, they observe you, whatever you do. Not just saying, yes, I'll tick all the boxes, so these are the things that I'm going to do in my classroom. What about you yourself, the educator? They have to see you walk this journey. It's not just saying, well, we have to be inclusive. Show them what it is to be inclusive as well. So when they see you, this definitely reciprocate the same thing. So they know that if my educator, Florence, is doing this, I have to do what she's doing as well. So she's pointing me towards the right direction. And if you also a few ways that you can promote inclusion in your early childhood classroom, if you also know of other ways as well, please leave this in the comment below and we all be able to learn. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Subscription is free. And until I come your way next time, stay safe and mind yourselves for now. Bye.